Who'd like to start it off?
Mike, just one of the numbers that stands out from yesterday is 50 pass attempts by Robert, and I realize there were a lot at the end of the game when you're trying to make up a 10-point deficit, but that sort of balance that you like to have between run and pass, what have you got to do to get back to that like you had it last year?
Well, I think when you take a look at that ratio, you have to look at the total game. We had 22 passes that were with 38 seconds left. We had 5 at the end of the half. We had 17 at the end of the game. And then you take 12 third down passes, and you get 35 passes there. And then you take your first down ratio, run to pass. I think we had 14 runs, 13 passes. Then you take second down. I think we had 5 runs and 11 passes. So that's the type of ratio that we're looking for. Once you get into the 2-minute situation, those numbers can get really carried away one way or the other, and that's what happened. But when you really break down a game, you got to break it down, you got to look at it, and the run-pass ratio was right at 50%. Did all that make sense? No, that's what we look at quite a bit, trying to keep that ratio fairly close to 50% if we can do it. Doesn't always happen.
London doesn't often come off the field. Yesterday, early in drives, I think Nick played only about 8 plays, but on the third drive, defensively, the first 3 plays, he stood there with his helmet on. Nick was on the field. Was that by design that he was on the sideline?
Well, to be honest with you, we've been talking about giving London a few plays off. We don't want to overwork them, especially with the offenses we go against nowadays with the hurry up and the no huddle. And I'd like to give him a few more plays off, not to just wear him down. And that's what happened yesterday. I think he got a few in the second half. I was hoping that Nick would get a few in the first half. But we're trying to keep London at 100%, and we don't want to send him back at all.
Does that have more to do with just London, or does Nick look good in practice and you want to play him?
Well, first of all, we feel very good about London, but we want to keep him healthy. We want to keep him fresh, and we think Nick is doing a good job too.
Mike, you talked a lot in the offseason about Robert learning to protect himself by throwing the ball away and then sliding, and he struggled with both of those things at certain times yesterday. Where do you think he is on that learning curve, and to what extent, if at all, do you think those issues are now sort of in his head and affecting his play a little bit?
Which one?
I guess sliding first.
Well, he practices sliding. He actually practices it at practice, and not that he's a great slider, but he's getting better. He didn't slide very much in college. He's gotten better at it in practice. He'll continue to get better as he does it.
Throwing the ball away on interception, did you feel that was the ball that should have been thrown away?
Well, that was not his fault. I was very upset during the game. I thought he just kind of threw it haphazardly, and it was a legitimate. It really was a great throw, but it just didn't work out that way. I'm not going to go through the blame, but as I said after the game, I thought it was just a mistake, and it was a good throw.
A lot of the players spoke last week about regaining confidence and rebuilding that confidence you guys seem to have before the season. What do you do to reclaim that now at 0-3?
Well, you just work day by day, and you got to eliminate some of those mistakes. We talked about it after the game. All of a sudden, you get a turnover, or a touchdown pass, and all of a sudden you win the game. Everybody's excited, everybody's happy. Now you don't win the game. You go back and you look at every play in the game. That's just the nature, the difference of winning and losing. That's just the nature of the business.
Mike, going back to London for a second, had you seen signs in those first 2 games of him wearing down, and what was happening because of it?
Not at all. Not at all. In fact, London, I think, needed a break. That wasn't our game plan going in, but we talked that if he ever felt like he needed some time to kind of sit back and give himself a breather, we encouraged him to do it, and he did it during the game.
Mike, when you talk about the defense and how things can improve as the season goes on, Cofield said in the locker room today he thinks counterpunching is something that the defense can improve upon. The other team adapts. Maybe your team hasn't adapted as well. How would you describe that?
I was really pleased with our defense. Kind of going into the game, I thought we had a good week of practice. I thought we played hard. We gave up some big plays in the passing game. We put them more in a one-dimensional game, giving up 2.7 yards per rush. We had a couple missed assignments in there where they got a couple big plays. We had a couple young players make mistakes, But hey, that's part of football. But I was much better than our first two games. Not as good as we want to do. Anytime you give up that many big plays, there's some deficiencies there. But I like the direction we're headed.
Mike, do you have an update on Jordan Reed's knee, quad bruise?
No, nothing up to date. It's same as it was. He's got a sore quad, and how long it's going to take, I'm not really sure.
Experimenting in the second half with your kick returner with Josh Morgan going there. Are you just not seeing what you need out of Chris Thompson, or what were you looking for there?
I just want to give him a chance to see. He's a bigger body. Give him a chance to see what he could do.
Are you happy with the lanes that are being created for your kick returners?
Well, we had a couple missed assignments early, and they kicked it to the corner of the end zone, and we didn't get it back to the middle quick enough, and we had two guys make plays. Other than that, I was pretty pleased.
Coach, at the end of the half, can you just give us an idea of the time management, kind of your thought? I think Jordan Reed caught a ball, and he was at the 35-yard line with 31 seconds left. The next play, I think they got 6 yards, but you were down to 13 seconds left at your own 41. Not calling the timeout there, and just kind of how normally you go about those decisions.
Well, 3rd and 13, do you remember the play?
I remember on the Reed play or the next one?
The third and 13 with 13 seconds left.
No, I don't.
Okay. What we were hoping to do is we had what you call kind of a deep over in the middle of the field, and we were hoping to get that play. And if we did get that play, I think the receiver would have took it to about the 30-yard line. We had a timeout. We're going to call timeout then and set up the field goal. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but he was there.
Mike, now that you've had a chance to review the replay on the two crucial bobbles in the fourth quarter, RG3's fumble and the Aldrich incompletion, just wondering if you have any sort of different perspective. Do you agree with the calls that were ultimately made?
Yeah, they were correct calls. Both calls were correct. Aldrich, the ball did hit the ground. And Robert, you can go head first, but you have to have the ball security when you do hit the ground. And so even though you could slide, once you stop sliding forward, if he had control of it then, and then he was getting up and let that ball go, then it wouldn't be declared a fumble. But that was a fumble.
Did you double check with the league on that rule today, or was that just pretty much you knew? I mean, I know it talked a lot about training camp, that rule the day the officials were there. Was that pretty much?
They've clarified that a few times, but I actually did talk to them just to make sure that I had the correct interpretation of the rule, and it was correct.
Mike, say you want to experiment with the bigger body. What took Niles out of the equation on kick returns this year?
He's still a legitimate guy, legitimate threat as kickoff returner. Josh has a little bit more wiggle than Niles does. He's more of a power type runner. We thought we'd give Josh a shot at it.
Does he serve you better? Niles also serve you better as the up guy as far as blocking? Or?
Yeah, he helps us there as well.
Mike, when Robert went face first on the slide, do you think that's more instinctual, just in the moment? And do you have that conversation with him about next time getting down, hitting the deck, baseball-wise?
Well, like I said after the game, I haven't had a lot of guys just do it both ways. A lot of people would rather go feet first. Other guys want to get the extra yards and go face first. Sometimes they feel a little bit more protected going head first. Tell Robert he can do it any way he wants to. He just got to hold on to the football if he goes face first.
Last year's 7-game run to end the season, does that at all give you some peace or solace about the way you guys have started out this year?
I really don't think in those terms. You just got to concentrate on a daily basis and go find a way to win first. And after you take care of that, then you can think about the other things.
What can you do to keep Bakari's spirits up, when he goes from a starter to watching the entire game from the sidelines?
Well, when he gets his opportunities, he's got to take advantage of it. We're not here to keep his spirits up. We're here when he does play special teams, whatever role you're in, you better play at 100% and make some plays. So if he doesn't play anything on defense, he better play well on special teams. And if you don't play well on special teams and you're not a starter on defense, then you won't be dressing. So everybody's got a role, and it changes during the season.
With Brandon, this is the third time since he's come back. He's gone helmet to helmet with somebody. Is there anything you guys are talking to him about, or any concern you have with him being on the field?
No. First of all, the first hit he had, the one they got fined on, the $42,000 fine, I think that'll be rescinded because that hit was a legal hit. And at least in my interpretation after seeing it again, and I think that'll be rescinded. But I think what they're going to try to do is emphasize even coming out on that angle from now on will not be allowed in the National Football League. So that'll be a new rule that'll be implemented as time goes on.
Josh did not open up the game at starting Z, and then I think he only
Say
played
again?
Josh Morgan as your receiver. He didn't play as much, I think, as the first two games. Is there something you're not seeing from him? Is it more just Leonard's ascension there, or what's going on?
Well, we thought Leonard had a better game the week before, so we gave Hank a few more reps than we did Josh just because of his play the week before. A lot of competition there for playing time.
Last year with Josh was the ankle coming off that injury. Are you seeing what you hope to see from him in that regard with, a little bit more explosiveness a year, I guess 2 years now removed from that surgery?
Well, yeah, he's much better than he was a year ago. There's no question about it. But there's still that competition. People are fighting for playing time. You got two guys that are close, and each game dictates on how much they'll play the following week.
Mike, two things on the defense. What'd you think of D'Angelo trailing Johnson around most of the day outside of the slot, and also third down defense, second half, you guys shut them out in that regard. Do you take a little moral victory away from that or no?
D-Hall played well. He was very, very competitive. He was very physical. I thought he played one of his better games since I've been here. I'm very proud of the way he played, and we need that type of play to play great as a defense.
Pleased about that?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what you got to do. You got to step up and make plays, and if you don't get them off the field on third down, it's hard to be a great defense.
Mike, to build on the question on Rambo, is it just the speed of the game that's kind of caught him by surprise, or do you think there's just more fundamental breakdowns for him?
Well, we had a different game plan. They started in a 3 wide receiver package, and so we kept our base defense on the field. But with 3 wide receivers, if you ever want to play man coverage, you want a corner to match up with a wide receiver. So with the free safety, we put Brandon back there than Bakari because of his experience as a tackler and a center fielder. And that was our game plan going in.
That's not something going forward necessarily.
Well, it could be. It could be. We also play nickel.
Yeah.
And when you play nickel, then you take a look at 3 corners and 2 safeties, who gives you the best chance to play well, and a lot of different game plans that go into it.
Coach, for the Redskins season ticket holders,
Pardon me?
For the Redskins season ticket holders, what should they be excited about right now? If you had a message for them.
Well, they're our MVP right now because the fans were great. Hopefully we can play at the level that the fans are helping us, or at least trying to help us, because they were excited all through the game, and I thought they helped us, especially in that second half, and I thought we made a couple plays to at least get us in the game. And it's always disappointing when you lose a game that you feel like you should have won because you beat yourself. But that's part of life, and I think our football fans see that we played well at the end of last season. Hopefully, we get on a run. Anything else? Okay, thanks.